What is up, YouTube? It's been a while, but I'm feeling a lot better, as you can tell by the sound of my voice. But today, I'm going to be reviewing Haunted. I know, well, at least one of you guys asked me to do this next, and then there's some other people asked me to do some other things, but this was next on my list of books to review. I recently finished it, and what do I have to say about this? Holy crap. Like, what the heck? What in the world? It is ridiculous. I don't even know how to explain how coffee. It's crazy. I guess the premise of the story is that there's this group of writers who want to become better writers, so they go away to this writers retreat, and nobody really knows each other. They all kind of leave at 4 in the morning, and they don't tell anyone where they're going. It's got to be like a secret kind of a thing for the best results, I guess, and they're going to be gone for 3 months, and what they're going to be doing is writing at this resort, and, you know, like, really, they expect it to be really awesome. Well, when they get there, they get locked inside of this theater. It's a really old theater that's been run down or whatever, but they're, like, legitimately locked in there, and at first they try and get out, and they can't find a way to get out. There's no windows to the outside that they can break out of or anything like that, so they're trapped in there. And there is a gentleman who's like leading the group. He's there, and they keep asking him to give them the key, and he's like, well, you know, I don't have the key on me, it's hidden somewhere in the house, because they threatened to like kill him, to like, you've kidnapped us, we're gonna kill you, and then we're gonna take the key from you. And he's like, nope, sorry, that's not gonna work. But it just starts to get really, really dark. Basically, the people, the story, I guess the way that I would explain it is that it's kind of a, he takes the whole idea of victimization, like being the victim, and he takes it and he kind of spins it on its head, where he's saying like some people kind of seek acknowledgement by constantly being the victim. You know, I'm sure everybody knows somebody like this who, you know, they are always the victim, and they're always the one being hurt, and they kind of feel like they've been affirmed by somebody seeing that they've been hurt, or that they're the victim or something like that. It's kind of a strange concept to me, but knowing people who are kind of like that, you know, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see. And he kind of takes that and he like stretches it to the extreme by, like, these people are like, oh, we've been kidnapped and we're gonna have the story that we can tell, you know, like they start to like sabotage themselves, and everyone knows that everyone else is sabotaging each other, but they start to like do it to the extreme so that they can be the most victimized person, and thus have the best part of the story when they are released in 3 months. Like, they start to like cut off their own fingers, and like start cutting off their ears, and, you know, they're just at a table cutting off their like hands and stuff, and you're like, what the heck is happening? So I'm not gonna spoil it and tell you like what the result of it is, but at the end, I was thinking to myself, wow, this has gone too far. Like, yeah, I don't even know how to explain that, but it was very exciting. I couldn't find it in myself to kind of put the book down at ever, because like each chapter there's there's a little poem at the beginning about one of the characters, and each of the characters has like a weird name. There's one, they do say their actual names in here, but they call one of them like Lady Bag Lady, and then there's oh, what are some other names? Why are they I can't think of any of their other names right now. Why am I blanking? Miss Clark is one of their names, and that's actually her name, but she's one of the only people that goes by her actual name. Director Denial. Denial is like a police captain who is, their story, they deny something in their story. Mother Nature's another one of them. I'm remembering now. Mother Nature's another one of them. There's one like Secret Agent. What is his name? Man, why am I forgetting this? Baroness Frostbite, a lady who gets like frostbite really bad and like her lips are gone from the frostbite. So there's a poem at the beginning of, or at the end. In each chapter there's a poem about one of the people. Then there's like a story written by that individual person, and I'm not entirely sure if these are true, like their biographies, or if they're just stories that they have written while they were in the theater. I for a while I thought they were like their biographies that they were writing or something like that, but at the end one of the characters writes a story and you're thinking, okay, that's weird, that can't be true. But who knows? So there's story that's happening, then there's a poem about one of the characters written by one of the other characters, and then a story written by one of the characters in each chapter. So you're reading through, you like get to another poem, you're like, oh, a poem about the Duke of Vandals, and so you're like reading that, and then you get to you're like, oh, a story by the Duke of Vandals, and so then you're reading that, and then you're like, oh, I wonder what's happening, and then you get to that part of the story, and then you read and you're like, it's getting crazier, and then another poem happens, so you just kind of like burn through it. I mean, the thing's barely even 400 pages. Yeah. Here's the names. St. Gutfrey, Mother Nature, Miss America, Lady Bag Lady, Earl of Slander, Brandon Whittier, Duke of Vandals, Miss Clark, Director Denial, The Reverend Godless, Matchmaker, Sister Vigilante, Chef Assassin, Comrade Snarky, Agent Tattletale, that's that one guy's name, The Missing Link, Countess Foresight, Baroness Frostbite, Miss Sneezy, and I think that's all of them. But there's like 17 characters. I wasn't keeping track when I was reading, but there's like 17 characters, and they're all like weird stories. Like if you know Chuck Palahniuk at all, like you know how like weird and dark his stories are. Like each one of the characters' story is weird and dark, and they bring like different aspect. And like once you start figuring out like each person's story, you're like, oh, that's creepy. So this is definitely a fun read. I enjoyed it, and I'm getting back into Chuck again. You know, I've read plenty of Chuck before, and I'm, you know, he's got short books, 400 pages that you can just burn through real quick. This is one of the longer ones, actually. So definitely would suggest that you give this a read if you're not faint of heart. I know there's a couple, like my wife, she would not like this book. She would get through like part 1 of one of the stories and like, nope, I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with that, because it's gruesome. Like there's parts where you're thinking to yourself, ew, how would I would not be able to do, I would just die. You know, that's, so if you're not faint of heart, this one's really crazy. Like, I mean, I just look at the picture on the front. There it is. That's how I felt the whole time reading it. That's a great explanation. So I'd give it a 3.75 out of 5. Almost a 4. But there's, I don't know, I felt like the ending could have been a little bit more like intense, because the entirety of the book was like super intense, and then you kind of want like the ending to be like a really climactic part, and it just kind of like carried on with this same intensity throughout. So if the ending would have been a little bit more intense, I'll give it a 4, because there was a big, you know, like, how many books don't have plot twists? You know what I mean? there was a plot twist in it that was just I was not expecting, and I mean that's kind of what a plot twist is, right? But that's my review of Haunted. Not for the faint of heart, but if you can stand a little bit of terse language, a little bit of graphic violence, and it's not very lewd, but it does have a couple of garish imagery. It's not very, I mean, nobody's really having intercourse in the book, but it talks about things of sexual nature in a very graphic way, I guess, if that makes sense. So if you can stand that kind of stuff, this is an intense read that will keep you, like, crazy. It's crazy. It's just flipping crazy. So it's intense, and I would suggest it to you if you don't mind those kinds of things in your reads. Until next time, back to the book.
Oh yeah, it would. So would.
Quiet, I'm filming. I love you. Hey, so you got to the end of the video, you survived. So if you liked the video, what was it, a review today, check out some of my other reviews, like this one, or
what is up,
this
YouTube?
one.
What is up, YouTube?
Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews and other such things. Alright, catch you later. How are you supposed to get this right? There. Oh, don't fall.